boy 12. NYNU, New York next up. What up, YouTube? And all my YouTubers, it's your boy 12 Vision. Y'all know the vibe. It's not a vibe, it's a big vision. We up here in Harlem, my hometown right now. We in a museum / installment for Trap Genius. My boy Rel, kid I grew up with. He's a designer, clothing maker. He did an installment for his pop-up shop. It's not just a pop-up shop, it's an installment about Harlem, the landmarks of Harlem, the people that came up in Harlem. I'm gonna give y'all a look at this installment. Shout out to you, Rel, Trap Genius. NYNU, New York next up. Rel, Trap Genius. Trap Genius, Rel, partner, business partner and all. She's gonna give us a tour of this. Whose idea was this though?
So this was really both of our ideas. I actually love museums. However, Met Museum is actually my favorite museum.
Okay.
But as you know, like going into the Met Museum, there's nothing that actually represents it, but I love art.
Right.
So like if I want to do something and I'm bored, I'm going to the Met Museum. But you know the Met has the Met Ball, and every year they do an exhibit.
Yes.
So I'm like, that fashion never represents anything that I come from.
Right.
So now I have a fashion
brand.
I have a fashion brand.
And you killing it.
Thank you. So now why not tell a story from my perspective of why we dress the way we dress, why we look the way we look.
NYNU, New York next up is my girl right here. Pia is really like a visionary. For her to make this installment, this brownstone is a museum. We got a museum in Harlem and it's like fire. You can't go wrong with it, right? So what made you come from just not doing a pop-up like how everybody else does a pop-up? You said you like museums and you wanted to get into the show the world, the people, how we are in fashion, how we really came up here in Harlem. Explain.
I wanted to kind of like articulate what Trap Genius is. And a lot of what we are is kind of our environment.
Right.
So we dress the way we dress, we talk the way we talk, we move the way we move, but also the people that inspired us probably would never see themselves in a museum, but they've influenced like a slew of people, and also the people that made it. You look at the Dame Dashes, you look at the Puffs. Somebody inspired them. Somebody inspired the way that they carry themselves, but specifically Trap Genius, the clothing line. I'm like, we can't tell a story of Trap Genius and not tell a story of Harlem.
Y'all are geniuses for this and
appreciate you.
Putting all of us on.
This right here is an example of not my room, Terrell's room. It's a replica of his room. But as you know, like when you come in someone's room, it gives you the story of their life.
Okay.
It gives you the story of their outside world, their fashion sense, everything. Everything that you see in this room is going to be expounded on throughout the museum. But that's really how we live our lives. Our home will now have a home, like an apartment, because I'm older now. But back in the day,
I know
our rooms told our story of our lives.
It really did.
So like if you smoke weed, it's because you probably have friends outside that was smoking weed that kind of influenced you. The movies that we listen to, the movies that we watched, the
Juice.
music.
Right, above the rim. Like the 40 Belows.
40 Belows, like
wow.
Come on, you got Tupac and Juice, 40 Belows. Like this was part of our culture, but this is also why we are the way we are. You know what I'm saying? Like the fashion. You know what it was growing up? I mean, not growing up, but like going to college. I was never able to articulate the culture of Harlem. But also, you can't come to Harlem. Outside of this museum, you can't come to Harlem and understand our culture.
Right, and
there's nowhere, even if you was to just visit for a day, there's nothing that's gonna give you what the culture of Harlem is.
Right.
And we don't have any
our era. It
It
isn't nothing explaining our era at all. Really.
And that,
only in music maybe, but this visual.
I wanted to show the visual. Right now, Harlem looks a little like a rusty red to me. But I don't know if that's because of the buildings, but you know, like everything.
It's more modern now.
Yeah, there's nowhere for you to get the full feel of it.
This is my friend Wendy. Hello, Wendy, the visual decorator. How did you know our rooms was like this?
I definitely have a lot of friends, and you know, I'm not gonna say too much, but I was cutting school a little bit.
We all was.
Hanging with my friends, my boys. I had a lot of male friends, and going to the rooms and just experiencing how they were vibing. And definitely I had a younger brother, but seeing everything that inspired them, it also inspired me as well. So everything I put here definitely were things that I grew up with. For example, the Jansport backpack. The backpack was something we all had. The boombox with the graffiti. Graffiti was very iconic. The Rockaware hat, the bucket hat. The Rockaware was such a big brand to wear. If you was wearing Rockaware, you was fly.
Yes, you were.
With the matching sneakers, the 7 train. Showing love to Yankees, the VHSs,
right? The cassettes. I like the way you said the cassettes is there because the era we was coming up in, it turned into CDs.
Absolutely. So the cassettes are tucked away here because he's no longer using it. But you remember the iconic, the yellow one.
Yes, absolutely.
Everyone, either you had it
or your mom's had it. My mom's had that.
Absolutely.
One. I was too young for.
The Trapper Keeper with the Blockbuster DVDs. Everyone had the Looney Tunes shirts.
Amazing.
If you had the polo sheets,
you was doing something.
You was doing it.
Right.
I know from a girl's perspective, if he had the polo sheets, he was, he was cute. He was getting money, or he was fly one way or another. But yes, we have the little graffiti inside because everyone was doodling.
Yep.
The little Big Booty magazine tucked under the blanket. We also have the original Joel Santana poster from the magazines, Vibe, Source, XL, all of those. Got Martin.
Yeah, because everybody was watching Martin at one
The
point.
Blueprint, Jay-Z, the vinyls.
Right.
These iconic posters, New Jack, Above the Rim. These movies, they raised us. Purposely put the white Nike basketball in here. Because again, he's a fly boy.
Right.
So every little detail mattered to him. The clear phone, his staying up late night talking to the girls. If you had it, you had it. If you didn't, you wanted it. The CD players were right here. The little old 1996 quarter, the PlayStation, the recorder, the Subway series. Look, 2000 Subway series.
Wow.
What's that? Like, what?
The VHS.
No, but what's the VHS?
So this is between the Yankees and the Mets. That was a big deal.
Yeah, that's why they call that a Subway
deal.
Series, because that's the both New York teams going at each other. With
Absolutely.
The Subways would be crazy at that time. When the Mets and Yankees played back in them 90s days, the Subways will be crowded with Yankee fans and Mets fans. You'll see the whole Subway going crazy, like literally.
Like the train right here. You see how the trains, they would get vinyls all over the trains to show, look, the Mets, Subway series, showing them battling against each other, which was a very big deal back then.
All right, so you hit that on the nose. You decorated this like perfectly for a boy's room. Because my room was literally this small.
The Hustlers, Pop Sick was the first millionaire that I actually saw that I could actually touch. He made his first million at 22.
Okay.
Much older than me, but at the same time, I seen him. So I'm looking like, oh, this is what success looks like. This is what, Amik, he was the first person that I seen, Amik, and then my aunt, who actually used to hang out with the Hustlers. She was my first fashionista. Why she's not, in my mind, why isn't she in the Met Museum? Because that's who my inspiration was. If I wore something that my aunt said it was fire,
you definitely.
That's all I
you needed to hear, right?
Even to this day, if I walk in her home and she said that's a nice outfit, I feel like I made it.
Because that's the fashion sense she came from is still what we repeating right now.
Exactly.
Word.
But a lot of people don't know that.
Right.
The Dapper Dan situation where the huge Gucci took those designs and kind of made millions off of it, and then it took us to kind of say, no, that's part of our culture. And y'all actually sued him and had him living underground because of it, and now you're gonna make money off of it. Give him a contract.
Right.
But my thing is this, like, these are the things people don't know. You will only know that if you're from here. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't leave. It's not that we don't leave, but
the mindsets don't
grow. The thing is that if you stay here, no one else knows about it.
Right.
So, I had the opportunity to leave, but I still wasn't able to articulate it. I said, let's create something that we can kind of visually articulate what it was like.
This is the Hustlers room.
Okay.
This is paying homage to the Hustlers. out in Harlem, everyone who is inspired by all these big time hustlers here, every one of them, they have their own story to show how they were inspired by Harlem. How I interpret it was to show, of course, the money. They were out here working, hustling one way or another. You're inspired to get money. Doesn't matter how it is, the fat Cubans, the pagers, the Motorola, the StarTech phones, all of these flip phones, very iconic. If you was getting money, you definitely had one. You didn't have one or two, you had several. So we have the table here, the glass tops, the leather couch,
Right,
the speakers with the wooden.
Right, wooden was big back in the 90s.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. The gold frames, the Newports,
the gold.
the Scarface. It was iconic, very iconic to have Scarface. Everyone was idolizing Scarface back then. You either had a poster, a VHS, anything. And we got the Averex.
So this was you literally set this whole room up like this. This
Absolutely.
Averex is like this is an iconic piece for this
Absolutely.
time right here.
This one now is going for about
$1,500,
almost,
yes,
absolutely.
because I already know. Because I
Yep.
remember I had one back in the day, which was my uncle's. Now me having one in this era right now is just too expensive.
Oh, it's a classic piece to
Yes.
have. Everyone that got rid of it before wishes they never did.
Right.
As you know, as the drug game started to decline, the rap game became the new hustle.
Okay, you're absolutely right.
So
that's
Big L was like the first person we seen coming out of Harlem that kind of gave us the idea that we could actually make it in this rap thing. He started his crew digging in the crates in 1992.
92. Digging in the crates. Man, I remember you said who was in digging in
Fat
Joe at
Fat
one
Joe.
point.
Yep.
Fat Joe right there.
Huge.
Digging in the crates was Big L's first crew?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
his first rap. This right here is important because we actually built Trap Genius following the blueprint of watching them build up Rockefeller Records.
Okay.
Actually, we treat Trap Genius like a record label.
Okay.
So we market it the same way. We doing like the CDs. No, we if we have to, we'll pop the trunk and sell stuff out the trunk. But that's what we seen them doing.
Understood.
We kind of follow that same blueprint. Very, very, very instrumental in how Trap Genius is ran as a business.
Okay.
This was a moment. So like this was the beginning of understanding what Dame Dash and Biggs was doing. When that battle happened between Jay-Z and DMX, it was kind of like, oh, okay.
That's what's really going on.
But also how powerful rap was.
Big L.
Big L dropped his first album. First time you could actually touch somebody that had an actual album out.
In Harlem. Right.
Nuts for
Right.
us.
I grew up on this album right here.
We all did.
Right. All right. So right here is the
I told
partner
him that's what we
right
listened to
here
the whole time,
is
like-
Rel, the partner of Trap Genius and Pia right here. This is my man right here. He's like big influencer. Like we grew up together. Like he had nothing but style, still got style. So
Both got it.
this is the ideas is right here. What we standing in right now, these two great minds right here. These are the business partner of right here. Trap Genius is the brand. You know what I'm saying? So NYNU, New York Next Up are these two right here. Pia and Rel, the creators of Trap Genius.
Trap Genius NYC.
Trap Genius NYC, dope designers, saluting
Trap
them.
Experience.
The Harlem Trap Experience, that's what y'all having right now. This is a mural of Big L, right?
From 140th to
140th and Lenox Avenue right here. Famous right here.
This is a moment. This was a moment for us.
Y'all should, go ahead.
Me personally, yeah, this was a moment for us. I really feel like Cameron made men feel comfortable wearing pink.
Very true.
After this moment, but just to kind of, like I said, a lot of our designs is kind of us paying respect. The pink that's in this Trap Genius hat, this was us paying respect to Dipset,
Understood.
Cameron. So we have a few pieces with pink in it, and that was our way of saying thank you and the inspiration behind the pink. This used to be what we consider, this is what we knew one
This
could be.
to be before it got gentrified and
Right.
everything.
There
Like
you go.
125th was just amazing when you walking down and people outside. These are what you call independent hustlers right here.
Exactly.
So you had the shea butter, which I still use to this day. The incense, what my mom used to curse me out to bring in because I was smoking at the time. And just this is just Harlem. Like the bamboo
Right.
earrings. The albums was just amazing. Yes, this is how you had to shop. If you wasn't getting your albums from these type of venues at the time, you wasn't getting no dope albums.
That's a fact. And we just had in the DVDs,
Definitely DVD.
In the bootleg.
Everything, yes.
Yeah, so like I just felt like that ruined a part of the culture. A lot of people's livelihoods was messed up
Yes,
because
it
of
was.
that move. These places on a wall, places that we frequented growing up, Blue Jeans, mixtapes from Vasquez was a huge part of our childhood.
Yes, it was.
And that was the only place you can get your
Vasquez
Vasquez
from.
Pepe jeans.
That was
super important to our teenage years.
Yes, it was.
So we had to highlight that. Willie's Burgers.
Willie's Burgers is just Harlem, period,
Right.
isn't it? From before our era.
That's what I was about to say. Before our era, M&G Diner, known for their fried chicken. They're no longer there. Actually, it's a clothing store.
It's a clothing store. But how y'all can remember M&G Diner? Y'all remember the movie Belly with DMX, RP DMX, and Nas sat down in a scene and they was talking? That's where they was at.
That's Morningside.
Morningside is
Morningside.
M&G Diner right there.
You got Pan Pans, phenomenal
Pan
breakfast.
Pans, wow.
They unfortunately burned down actually around the corner from here.
Another visual for Pan Pans was Alicia Keys' video.
You don't know my name.
You Don't Know My Name. She did that. She was a waitress in Pan Pans right there. So that was like the last time y'all probably seen Pan Pans on a visual. Next up is
The Apollo. I went to my first concert at the Apollo. Crown fried chicken, chains all over, but specifically on 145th and Lenox Avenue, that's where we all used to hang out. That was a meetup spot for a lot of us, especially because 145th Street, the 3 train station is right there. So it's like, oh, just meet me on 145th. Chances are you was probably in front of Crown fried chicken. It was just a hangout spot for us.
Right. So what was Sylvia's like for Harlem?
The reason why Sylvia's is important to me is because that was the first time I actually seen a female entrepreneur do what she did. And as a young kid, just being in Harlem, you didn't really see women at all. So like just to
And
see
for her time too, though.
I didn't know.
I'm just saying, for back then.
Yeah.
Just for her, because Sylvia's was before we was damn near born, damn near.
Right, and you know what's so? You know how ignorant I was? I thought a guy probably owned the restaurant and named it after their mother or something. When I found out that she actually owned the spot,
It hit
and
your
it was
heart.
crazy.
For a female.
And now as me as an entrepreneur, it's kind of like, yo, I'm doing what this lady did.
Right.
But
So you following in great footsteps.
exactly. You have Crime Square, 142nd and Lenox Avenue, very famous for at least for us.
Right.
You have
For
the
MH crew.
This is a little biased, but this is J Mills and Murder Mook. You probably don't go to
But let's represent the bakery one time.
Bakery, brick and mortar. The owner of Bakery is part of Most Hated, the crew. He's the first person out of Most Hated to have a brick and mortar clothing store.
Yes.
He also just opened up a restaurant, phenomenal food right next door. I spoke to Chio personally. He said his plan is to buy the block. And then you have Melba's, which is on 8th Avenue.
114. Right.
Yes, 114, very famously known for their soul food.
Right.
So I had to throw that out there.
Another black female owner, right?
Yup, you got it.
Right. So, and what? That's you lying.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Wow, so we learning stuff
So we
right
learning
now.
stuff.
Melba's is Sylvia's granddaughter. Wow. Salute to our black entrepreneurs, females at that. We saluting Pia and Rel,
Thank you,
Trap
thank you.
Genius, NYNU, New York. Next up are these guys, this brand that she's wearing
I
right now.
appreciate you.
Everything you see in this installment,
The Harlem Trap Experience.
the Harlem
And
Trap.
let me just get this part straight. The
Go
reason
ahead.
why it's considered the Harlem Trap Experience is because Trap Genius is actually presented it. Trap is an acronym for taking risks, applying pressure. We got some feedback saying like Trap doesn't fit with Harlem, and technically it doesn't, but this because it's being presented by Trap Genius. That's the reason why we have it as a Harlem Trap Experience.
We ain't worrying about y'all negative feedback.
We
We
not
doing
worried
something
about that at all.
Extremely positive right here. All right, New York next up. We got my boy Rel right here, Trap Genius, one of the co-founders of it. You know, it's Pia and Rel. We're gonna interview Rel, ask him a couple questions. How did you come up with this idea? Like,
Pia love museums.
right.
I love Harlem
She
history.
did say that.
So we just wanted to give Harlem history and give it from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I
Right.
just felt like personally, we had too much history in our era not to be told.
Right.
So what we did was we took a trip to the Trap Museum in Atlanta. We said we could replicate this for Harlem.
And you didn't, I mean.
And not even just with music, with everything.
You did this to the point where like you went beyond creating, like your visual for this was amazing. Like for all the sets that you got in here for this experience, it was like, it brought me back memories.
What's your favorite room?
My bedroom was just like that, you feel me? Now the crew room is just like, damn, I know everybody. I remember this era of y'all, you understand me? MH, the block parties, the hanging out, just the time, crime square era, like that was it, the way we used to dress and shit like that. So you hit this on the nose, bro. Like you went beyond creating right now. You stepped into a space where it's like, the world need to see this, you feel me? So it's like, and I just wanted to say to you, like, you're dope. Your brand has always been dope.
Love,
you know
my
what I'm saying?
brother,
And this is literally a museum. Like, they got real, actual pieces from our history, our culture. Like, so NYNU, New York next up is Trap Genius, Rel, Pia, and this whole Trap Genius experience, is it?
It's the Harlem Trap Experience. Come pull up, man. The first ever Harlem Trap Museum. We did something a little different with this one. We just wanted to give the game something different. We wanted to give culture from the culture, not from outside of the culture. That was our main thing, so that's what we tried to do. We tried to give a little bit of everything. Make sure you get every generation. And there's so much Harlem history, I couldn't even fill up everything, but I got what I could.
You did this you hit this beyond the nose, bro. This shit is amazing. This shit is dope file era. YouTube and all you YouTubers, check this out, man. Salute the main brand. Trap Genius NYC is the brand. And just pull up, show some love. We here.
12, my nigga.
I appreciate you, Rel.
Thank you for
Always
coming,
love.
nigga.
NYNU, Trap Genius, man. Salute them, man. I'm just sorry that we have to give it this.
It's like the Trap Angels.
Yeah, these definitely are our Trap Angels right here. So, like, y'all all watch over us, and we paying homage to y'all. Like, it ain't never stopping. For the experience we was just at, for the Harlem Trap experience, this corner that we standing on right here behind us would be the old Pam Pam's. Pam Pam restaurant used to be exactly right here. It's not here anymore because we are in a millennial and it burnt down and they never put it back up. But Harlem Hospital is right across the street. We showing landmarks of the Harlem Trap experience. New York next up, we in Harlem right now.